What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Pride of Detroit POD your home for all things Detroit Lions related. I'm your host, Miko, and in today's video, we are going to be recapping the Lions' massive win over the Chicago Bears, talking about some of the biggest storylines to come out of that game and some of our biggest takeaways as well. But before we jump into that, let me introduce my amazing co-hosts. First and foremost, we have your senior editor over at prideofdetroit.com, Ryan Matthews at Ryan_POD. Ryan, what's going on, man?
Not much, Miko. I feel a lot better after going through what felt like the longest 7-day period of my football watching life from week one to week two. I feel a lot better
I,
on the other side of it.
I was gonna say like that's exactly how I feel, and I think that's saying a lot considering like what I've been going through the last few days is that I feel somewhat lighter and more uplifted such a massive win. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm also kind of like peeking ahead, and I think that's kind of putting a damper on a couple things. But we'll get to that and a whole bunch of other things, shortly in this podcast, I'm sure. Uh, we also have your chief editor over at PredatorDetroit.com as well. Jeremy Reisman's joining us today at Detroit Online over on Twitter. Jeremy, how are we feeling?
Excellent, man. I think you forget after a loss all of the awesome things that happen after a win, in terms of enjoying the rest of the day, in terms of getting like the Dan Campbell speech at the end of the day. I'm sure we'll get Dan Miller calls later in the week. We're already popping up some mic'd up stuff as well. Like everything is just so much sweeter on a Monday after a win. So I am feeling really damn good.
I was gonna say I watched more football after that because
Right.
last week I didn't feel like watching any more football after the Lions game. I watched a lot more football yesterday, after that win. So there's, like we said, there's a lot to kind of jump into. But yeah, the vibes are good here on a Victory Monday. We're gonna talk about some of our biggest takeaways, some other observations we have, as well as some of the bigger, players that showed out yesterday as well. But Jeremy, one thing I wanted to jump into first and foremost in kind of talking about yesterday's win is that we've kind of have now seen, I would say, in a sense, like a tale of two different tapes when it comes down to the line. When you watch the Green Bay game, we saw a team that didn't quite look like they had fully waken up from the offseason. And then you see a team go, the same team go against the Chicago Bears this week that seemed to be hyped on off of anything they possibly could to kind of be energized for this game. What for you is kind of like the true identity of this team? Because Dan Campbell says it takes a while to figure out what type of team you are. And so far within 2 weeks, we have seen, I guess, two opposite ends of the spectrum of what this team could be. What do you think they actually are if you like were kind of trying to average everything out?
I don't think you average these last two games out. I think you average out these two games with the previous 2.5 years. This team is far closer to who they were on Sunday than they were the previous Sunday. And I have like zero doubt in my mind. There is too much evidence that Jared Goff is a master of this offensive system. There's too much evidence that Amon-Ra St. Brown can be absolutely uncoverable at times. There's too many examples of the run game being as explosive as it was on Sunday. Week one was the outlier. Like let's just say it with our chest. It was their outlier. And listen, the Packers are also a defense that is going to give a lot of teams trouble. They gave the Lions trouble last year in both games. I know some of the stats don't look like it. So I am fully back, like 100% back. There are only a couple things offensively that I had problems with, and all of it seemed very nitpicky. Like I still think the run blocking needs to develop a little bit more, and that's to be expected. That requires a little bit more chemistry in between linemen. But the pass blocking in this game was so damn good, and I'm talking like even better than last year good. It was phenomenal. And maybe that's where it's like, okay, that was a little bit too far in the other direction. Maybe that'll scale back a little bit. But in general, I think this offense is back. I mean, you do not score 52 points with a terrible offense. You do not put up 500 plus yards and six straight scoring drives out of luck. Like that is who this team was last year, and it's who they are going to be, I would guess, for the majority of games this year too.
Yeah, Ryan. I think that's one thing that we kind of knew coming out of that game is like this team can be better offensively. I will say though, for me personally, I do think like jumping from what they did against Green Bay to 52 points against the Bears seemed like a massive leap. But especially when you consider the fact that like what the coaches and the players were talking about was like, hey, we just got to clean up a couple things communication wise. Is that really like this that simple of why we saw this type of performance? Is that like, hey, communication just got cleaned up?
Yeah, take into consideration the setting as well, right? You're on the road week one against Green Bay. They have their ears pinned back. They have everything working in their favor. They have added Micah Parsons. It's week one. You're figuring out a lot of stuff. And the Packers, I'm not trying to play the whole like, oh, it was their Super Bowl kind of thing, but like the Lions are a team, and this has happened, and it's still a relatively new thing. It feels weird to think about how the Lions have the target on their back all the time, right? They are the ones that are hunted. They are not the hunties anymore. Like, I think that speaks a lot about week one. And in week two, you're in the friendly confines of Ford Field. I think it's pretty clear that those players had like an extra edge considering who the opponent was and who was leading that opponent. 8.8 yards per play. The franchise mark for a single game. Like that's I don't know. Like the offense looked like the offense. It was a lot of Amon-Ra. It was big explosive plays to JMO. It was David Montgomery looking very good. It was Jahmyr Gibbs for the most part, outside of one play that he needs to stop making one play each week. And maybe that speaks to some of the run blocking stuff, right? Like
Sure.
some of the stuff to the outside looks good. Some of the stuff to the outside looks ugly. And that's part of, getting stuff cleaned up and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So the offense, again, Miko, I guess to your original question, if you're trying to figure out, is this team more like the team in week one or are they more like the team in week two? I think they're a lot more like the team in week two than they are the team in week one. And it goes back to Jeremy's point about like, for whatever reason, that cover two stuff that, the Packers are willing to play against the Lions and almost kind of dare them to run the football. Well, the Packers bottled it up. So that's how bad the Lions offense can look if you're turning Jared Goff into a check down Charlie. And if you are bottling up the Lions run game, that's what can happen. That's what can happen. That did not happen this past Sunday. Bears couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the explosive plays.
And I think that was one of my biggest takeaways as well, is that like I think when looking at this offense, it's like, okay, this is who they could be at their worst. If for some reason someone comes up with a defensive scheme that really does limit this entire offense, both in the pass and run game, Jeremy, like this is what the Lions are going to have to try to figure out how to overcome. And I don't know if it's going to always be like just the simple fact of teams playing cover two and turning Jared Goff into a check down Charlie, or if it could be something more elaborate. But how this team adjusts like week to week and probably more so like quarter to quarter is going to be very important the rest of this season, because like Ryan said, like they're the hunted now and a lot of teams are coming to kind of knock them off that pedestal. So I don't know. I think that's something that we really as a fan base have to continue to watch for going through the rest of the season.
Well, I think Sunday was a pretty good example of the coaching staff adjusting, right? This goes back years, right? How long has it been since the Lions have lost back-to-back games? 3 years, 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever it's been. It's been a really freaking long time because this coaching staff is really freaking good at identifying what went wrong and fixing it in a hurry. It's like we can't lose sight of that because I don't know. I mean, it's one of the things that I think Dan Campbell is so good at that just goes underappreciated all the time, is that when something isn't working, he fixes it. Like, he doesn't let it linger. He doesn't stubbornly say, no, we have to do this. We have to do this. This is who we are. This is who we are. It goes back to year one with Anthony Lynn, right? The offense wasn't working. And he didn't keep Anthony Lynn for 2-3 years to say, you know what? Maybe this round peg will eventually get fit into the square hole. Like, maybe it'll shave down enough. No, it's not working. It's not a good fit, so we're going to fix it. And this was another example of them doing something like that on a smaller level. Not that they did anything drastic. This wasn't a drastically different offensive scheme, or they didn't do anything in particular that was way different. They just executed better. And again, that's identifying the problem, whether it was communication or whatever other chemistry issues there were on the offensive line. They went out there, they worked on it for 3 days, and they fixed it. And is it going to look perfect the rest of the way? I mean, probably not, but this is who they are. That they find a hole in the boat and they plug it as soon as they can before the boat sinks. And so, they might come out flat next week against the Ravens. That doesn't change my opinion of who this team is or who they will be in 2025. They are going to constantly find their problems, look better the following week, and I have and for all of this like coaching talk to happen on the week of Ben Johnson week is just like, it's perfect to me to set the yards per play record against Ben Johnson. So perfect. And it's no disrespect to Ben Johnson at all. It's just it's a disrespect to everyone who is running their stupid mouths in the past week about, oh, here's Jared Goff's record outside of Ben Johnson and Sean McVay or whatever dumb narratives they were coming up with. No. Jared Goff is pretty damn good. This offense is extremely talented, and it's not just the result of a coordinator, one coach. It's a collective of a ton of things happening, and they are going to continue to be very, very good.
Yeah.
Ryan, I think that. Oh, I was gonna say, just like I feel like that does, like that last part of what Jeremy was saying, really does lend itself to the idea or to the fact that like this is Dan Campbell's offense too, and it does lend itself a lot to his ability to adjust and spot things within his offense that need to be fixed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, take it back to that 2021 season. Anthony Lynn gets relieved of play calling duties after the bye, and the Lions were 0-8. And what do they do down the stretch? They win their first 3 games. They tie another game. It's Dan Campbell who's in charge. It's Dan Campbell in year 1 of him not only being the head coach, but also being the play caller. And then you get Ben Johnson involved in the offense. And then Ben Johnson gets a lot of the credit. And the last time the Lions lost back-to-back games was October of 2022, and it was when they started 1-6. Like, it's just an impressive mark on Dan Campbell's resume in terms of what he always preaches of not letting the team get too high and not letting the team get too low. When they face adversity, they come out on the other side smelling like roses. They don't smell like the Miami Dolphins. Sorry, no offense, Mike McDaniel. But the one other thing too is when you think about that week 1 game against Green Bay was able to generate pressure sending 4 guys. Right. Part of that comes back to, well, you add Micah Parsons. Part of that comes back to the missed assignments and Taylor Decker. I know it was a run play, but talking about like, oh, like Tate and I did one thing, and then the other 3 guys did another thing.
Yeah.
You know, the key to success in the NFL on defense is generating pressure with 4 guys. The Lions aren't quite there yet, right? Like, we hope that the Lions eventually get there, because I know we're eventually going to talk about the defense. And while the offense was phenomenal, the defense was really good in ways I kind of unexpected, so to speak, kind of like my camera movement. But that's just the recipe to spell disaster for any offense, is if the other team can, generate pressure with 4 guys. If you blitz Jared Goff, which the Bears blitzed more than the Packers blitzed, well, that's what happens when you blitz Jared Goff. So that's a big difference, I think, for me from week 1 to week 2 as well.
I also want to point out that if anyone wants to see Skynet take over Brian's camera, all you have to do is go over to youtube.com/Pride of Detroit or twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit to kind of see that Ryan's camera kind of has a mind of its own in terms of how it wants to focus on him. But I think one thing that I was kind of surprised that the Bears didn't choose to focus on Jeremy was trying to stop that Goff Amon-Ra connection. And I think like the fact that the Lions went to it so early and into some big areas, not necessarily in the way that we sometimes think about the Lions getting Amon-Ra involved. Like these were some deep shots across the middle of the field, but getting him in space to where he could really create after the catch.
Yeah, I mean the very first play of the game was run JMO on a vertical route up the seam, take both safeties with him, and then just have Amon-Ra win a one-on-one, which he's going to do if you give him 4 seconds, which is kind of what Jared Goff had on that play. Listen, the Bears' defensive scheme fits the Lions a little bit better. The Lions go against that scheme every day in training camp, right? It's a very much an Aaron Glenn type of scheme. It's a lot of man coverage, and with all of these superstars that the Lions have at skill position players, it's going to fit them better. They are going to beat that coverage more unless you get pressure with 4, which the Bears did not. And so, like, I think I don't want to say like scheme was the reason there was such a big difference in week 1 and week 2, because again, like I just think the Lions' execution was so much better in this game. But to go back to the Packers just for a second, because I think some people are like, okay, well, why doesn't everyone play the Lions like that? Why doesn't everybody just play in these deep shells, play a ton of zone? It's clear the Lions are worse at that. Well, yeah, but it's extremely hard to do that and stop the run and create pressure. It's way harder to do that than it is to play man and just, basically commit 7 in the box. sometimes more than that. The Packers were outstanding at it. That's kind of the missing piece from last year. The Packers were good in coverage against the Lions last year. They couldn't stop the run. And we thought, no Kenny Clark, there's no way they're going to be able to stop the run, yet they were able to in that game. The Bears couldn't do any of it. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't cover. They couldn't do anything. And that's who they are at this point. It's still, for all the Lions are adjusting to new coordinators, guess what the Bears are too. Their offensive scheme is new. Their defensive scheme is new and different. They have a lot of talent on that defensive side of the ball, but it's a bit of a schematic change, and I think they're still adjusting to it. So a lot of things working in the Lions' favor this past week, and they did what a good team does, which is take advantage of just basically everything.
I wanted JMO to catch that pass where he only had one shoe on. He had the defender beat with only one cleat on. My favorite number from the week is his average depth of target.
Oh my God. What was it?
33.3 yards was his average depth of target, which is just fun. Like
I said,
yeah. And I guess that's the other thing. Like Amon-Ra, incredible game, like really showed you why he should be considered one of the top.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, I feel like it's starting to creep up to like top 5. Like, I'm starting to think that Amon-Ra is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. But I think this game also showed you how important Jameson Williams is beyond the explosive plays. And I'm glad Jeremy pointed that out, right? Like, first play of the game, like you have to have attention on Jameson Williams, because if he does that, he opens up the middle of the field. And that's the other area that Jared Goff makes his bread and butter, is the middle of the field. And that's something that I noted really early on in the game, those first couple drives. Like, I was like, Jared Goff just looks so much more comfortable. He looks like he's operating on time, making the right throws and the right decisions. And it was just so nice to get back to like what things felt like there were, like the turn was going to happen, and you felt like this team like was absolutely not, and the noise was so loud, and the team just delivered in a way that was so satisfying.
Yeah, I agree with you both in the sense that like this offense looked so much more familiar, right? Like I think the one wrinkle was probably the first play, was like the play action deep shot to Amon-Ra, where it's like, oh, like we're being hella aggressive, from the jump. But for all the questions about like, hey, why does this offense not look like last year's offense? Why are they not running enough motion, or why are they not doing enough this? Like, I feel like even in that first drive, like you saw Khalif in motion a lot. You saw a lot of guys like getting back to the things that the Lions like to do. And like I said earlier, like it goes back to what Dan said, earlier this week, where it's like, hey, we're going to make things simple. We're going to get back to the basics. And I think that's what makes me like get super excited for what this team can be, both offensively and defensively. Is like, if this is what the Lions look like doing the basics, Jeremy, like imagine what this team looks like when they really start being able to dig into that bag of theirs, in terms of Johnny Morton being able to maybe call some more exotic plays, in terms of Kelvin Shepherd being able to create and come and dial up some more exotic blitzes. Like, I still, like, to that point of my question earlier, like this is where I feel like we probably are still scratching the surface of what this team actually can be, if this is just the basics.
Right. Yeah. Because there are some things we saw in training camp that we certainly have not seen yet, that I'm not going to divulge because I don't think I'm allowed to, but there's some things out there that we saw that either they decided to scrap, or they're holding on to it for later in the year. As Chat keeps saying, like, talk about Isaac TeSlaa, like he has room to grow. And what can the offense do when he's a little bit more well-rounded and not just catching balls with one hand on the sideline?
Yeah, and imagine when he starts using two hands to catch passes.
It could be unbelievable. The offensive line, like I said, still has a ton of room to gel and improve upon. So I don't want to say like, well, look out for 60 points next week or anything like that. But this is, again, why I feel like this team is closer to who they were in week 2 than they were in week 1, because we're just getting started with a lot of these guys. And I want to go back quickly to Amon-Ra being a top 3 receiver. I don't know if that's true or not, but I will go on the record in saying Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff is the best quarterback wide receiver duo right now. Their connection is absolutely unreal. Like, I think it was Nolan Bianchi who put it out there today. He put out a video of all 3 touchdowns. They're all these red zone short plays. That when we say Amon-Ra St. Brown is dominating training camp practices, it's because we're seeing those plays every single day. And I keep using this way to describe it, and I think it's accurate. Like, it is a telepathic connection between the two. The way that they just know where the other is going to be and where the ball is going to be placed and where he's cutting off his route is elite in a way that I've never seen with any wide receiver quarterback duo in here. Not Calvin and Stafford, not anybody. Like, it is so automatic, and Campbell talked about it a little bit today. I've never seen anything like that. And it's so valuable in the red zone with that, where everything is just quick timing routes. All you need is 5 yards. That's why he has been so dangerous since, really his rookie season. Halfway through his rookie season, when that connection started to click, it's incredible.
No, it's crazy. It's also like when Dan Campbell took over play calling.
Sure.
Wow. Huh. Funny how those things line up. The last couple things though, like the room to grow. There were a couple times yesterday where, like, I'm not entirely sure if Isaac Tesla knew where he was supposed to line up. Like, the Lions had to burn a timeout. Jared Goff was talking to him, like, I know earlier. And then on the 2-minute drive, it looks like there was a little bit of miscommunication. Like, in my notes, it's like, man, this like 2-minute drive is kind of like lackluster. Like, they're moving kind of slow. Like, I don't think they're necessarily being urgent enough. Oh, like there's like Jared Goff talking to Isaac Tesla again. Like, man, are they gonna? Oh my God, what a catch!
Right.
But there was that. There some of the other little wrinkles. Amon-Ra getting the handoff when Jared Goff, Jared Goff kills that play on third down. They get the handoff. They're using Amon-Ra in the backfield a little bit. Coyote was the 6th offensive lineman. I know it was an illegal formation, but he was the 6th guy out there,
and he gave up an immediate pressure. Like, it was a disaster. But
yeah, I mean that play, I guess technically didn't count because there were penalties on both sides of the ball, but like that happened, right? So like there's still, and again, Dan Campbell, I feel like he says this a lot, and this is like my big point, is that Dan Campbell in press conferences after games is always like, there's still like stuff to clean up. And when you see a team score 52 points, you're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean there's stuff to clean up? Well, there are things to clean up. And if those little things start getting cleaned up, right? Like 6 offensive linemen, Isaac Tesla getting more comfortable in the offense and things like that, there's levels that like still can be tapped into. And that's the exciting thing, I think, about the Lions offense after week 2.
I mean, not to mention, you have an offense that went 4 for 10 on third down. Like, Jeremy and I were talking about that before we started recording, and like that does not even seem plausible for a team that just put up 52 points. Like, when did that happen? And then you have to go back. You're like, oh yeah, there was a couple drives where they didn't quite capitalize. You're not able to capitalize off of the Brian Branch fumble that was absolutely perfect. Like, those are, to your point, Ryan. Like, those are the those are the situations where, as a coaching staff, where it's like, hey, awesome job, guys. These are the things that we have to capitalize, because if you get these types of opportunities against other really good teams, like we're not necessarily doing a preview of Baltimore right now, but like if you look at a Baltimore Ravens team, if you get those opportunities, like you have to cash in on those.
Yep.
Because these are teams that are dangerous enough to make you pay for not being able to capitalize. So I fully agree, Ryan. There's definitely room for them to continue to improve and really get into that final form, hopefully, as they're getting closer to getting into the playoffs, that they're playing their best football then, which is something that Dan is always talking about as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is what really made it feel like, okay, this Lions team is back. They're at home. Like, this is where we were before. It's exactly this. It's when they're in their press conferences at the end of the game, they're not talking about hanging 50 on the Bears. They're like, we probably should have hung 60 on them. We had these opportunities in the second quarter that we failed upon, and those are the ones that we're going to focus on and get better at. That is the true attitude of a championship level football team, where it's just like, yeah, sorry, this 30-point win wasn't enough for us. We're better than that.
I know we touched on the fact that the offensive line was better, but I do want to like highlight the fact that, like, I saw a stat earlier today that Christian Mahogany didn't give up a pressure, a sack, like was almost near perfect as an offensive lineman. And I think for a guy that, again, barely got to start last year and is technically, again, what is this, like his 4th, 5th start in the NFL?
Yeah, 4th.
To put up that type of performance is really encouraging for a young offensive line. I thought Tate Ratledge looked really good as well. I thought Graham did a much better job of communicating. Like I said, I know we touched on the fact that they were better, but I do think like they do deserve a good amount of kudos considering how down everyone was on that group just, the week prior.
Even Graham, right? Like I think Graham deserved a ton of praise. I think he looked a lot better in week 2 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, Pass Pro was like as close to perfection as you could realistically expect. The one time they screwed up was that 6th offensive lineman thing, and it's kind of more on Aushika than anything else, and doesn't even end up counting. For the Lion for PFF to credit the Lions with what was it, two pressures? That's it. The entire game.
Oh, that they allowed?
Yeah, 2 pressures allowed by the offensive line, I think.
I think 3. They gave 1 to Laporta.
Yeah, so the offensive line only got credited with 2.
Yeah, there you go.
That's wild. That's wild. That doesn't happen. It was 12 last week. 6 times as much last week.
It's a big difference.
And listen, like this Bears defensive line is not full of scrubs. Remember, like they added all these pieces in the offseason. We're like, those aren't really good, run defending pieces, but maybe your pass rush is going to be better. And it wasn't. It wasn't very good at all. And you can say maybe that says more about the Bears than it does the Lions. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I'll take it after last week. And like I said, some of the run stuff wasn't where it needs to be. I still think Gibbs is getting hit in the backfield a little bit more than I'd like. And to your point that you kind of nodded towards earlier in this show, he needs to stop turning 3-yard losses into 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-yard losses, please. But I mean, on a day in which you had an 11-yard loss and you still averaged how many yards per carry? 7.8. That's pretty wild.
That one play on the sideline where he absolutely undressed that Bears defender.
Oh man.
Bro, it looked like
in
time.
Real life. Yes, it looked like time stopped, and I thought my TV glitched. And then I saw the replay, and I was like, "Oh no, that's just him decelerating and accelerating in real time."
I hate when people invoke Barry Sanders comparisons because you just can't. That is the closest. That is the closest he's ever looked to Barry Sanders.
Oh, well, yeah. There's that. There's the play. Was it the Tampa Bay game where he went one way and then had to go the other way?
Yeah.
That people made that comparison. But then there are the things that, to your point, right? Like the 3-yard loss that turns into a 7-yard loss. Like Barry would do that, but also Barry would sometimes turn it into like a 18-yard gain. And
Right.
we haven't seen Gibbs do that yet. I don't know if he's trying to add that to be like, no, I am Barry. It's like, no, you don't have to do that though.
Defenses are too fast these days. I don't think you can even do some of that stuff that Barry did back in the day.
But I think if anybody could do it, it might be Gibbs.
That's fair. That's fair.
Speaking of Gibbs, we talked about this last week as well, that or at least we questioned whether or not they should be getting Monty more involved sooner in the game, and I thought they did a much better job of that as well. The splits in terms of snaps were still heavily Gibbs, right? I think he had 54% of the snaps, while Monty still only had 36%. But the carries were much more in line as far as even. I think Gibbs had 12, Monty had 11.
Yep.
So I think that's at least, again, getting back to what this team actually needs to be. If you want to have Jahmyr Gibbs on the field more, that's fine. But I do think David Montgomery needs to touch the ball about that much. I think the touches in terms of carries needs to be as close to even as you possibly can for this Lions offense to operate at the level that we saw them operate last night.
Yeah. And obviously a lot of this has to do with game situation, right? When you're trailing the entire game in Green Bay, you're going to get more Gibbs, right? He's going to get more touches both in the run game and in the pass game because you just need that explosiveness. When you're up 4 scores, you can just hit him with whatever you want. And that allows you to keep Gibbs a little bit more fresh. It allows you to get David Montgomery in the game more, particularly in some short yardage situations where I thought they were very good this week, where, if they're getting to the line in a 3rd and 2, I had full confidence they were going to convert, especially if Montgomery was out there. So, yeah, this is definitely more in their comfort zone where they want to be. It's almost like they say how you have to earn the right to pass rush. You have to earn balance on offense by keeping the score manageable, by hopefully having a comfortable lead, and they certainly did that on Sunday.
And there's definitely that room for growth in the receiving game for the backs too. That's something we didn't really, in the first week it was 10 receptions to Jahmyr Gibbs is not the path to excellence, but Then I think it was they combined for I think it was like 4 catches for 14 yards or something like that. Like
Yep.
nothing to, you know, elicit any like, ooh, like what was that stuff during training camp that, like, oh, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a weapon as a receiver. Still waiting on that, right? There's
Just
things to look forward to.
yeah, just another present waiting under the Christmas tree. And like we said, there's still plenty of that with this offense, which is why people should be even more excited than maybe they are right now.
They should also be excited because they can get amazing beef jerky over at Righteous Felon Craft Jerky because like that's the gift that just continues to just keep on giving, right? The Pride of Detroit podcast is brought to you by Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. It's the jerky that fuels the Pride of Detroit POD cast. Each 2-ounce bag of jerky has 16 to 20 grams of protein, and each stick has 8 grams. Trust me, if it's good enough for the Lions, it's going to be good enough for you too. Righteous Felon is based in Westchester, Pennsylvania. They use locally sourced all natural black Angus beef and prides itself on superior quality, revolutionary branding, and unique flavors that go beyond the stereotypical jerky offering. Ryan, you sent us a video earlier where apparently like people are so in love with craft jerky that they're even getting it as tattoos so they can just like check out at the store. I don't know if that's real or not, but I made sure to get my craft jerky order in actually this past weekend. I was a little late, wasn't able to use POD20 as a promo code anymore, but you can still use POD15 to save 50% off your order and get amazing flavors like Darth Garlic, like Marilyn Monroe. I made sure to get like 3 or 4 packs of that. I'm trying to load up for the rest of the season, guys.
You gotta. It's a long season, all right.
It's a long season.
We're all excited right now, but you're working out all the energy. I mean, 7 touchdowns. Is that how much it was? It was 7 touchdowns, right? You need
Something
your
like
protein.
that.
Sure,
You need
math.
your protein to withstand 7 touchdowns.
I was gonna say the protein is the main reason why I go after Righteous Felon Craft Jerky to be able to get that much protein, 16 to 20 grams, and depending on the pack you get, that's what you can get, and that's what I made sure when I put my order together this past weekend. I went for as much protein as I can possibly get between not just the bags but also the meat sticks as well. So if you go over to righteousfelon.com, use the promo code POD15 at checkout to get 15% off your order. Again, that's promo code POD15 at righteousfelon.com. When we come back, we talked a lot about the offense in this first segment. Let's talk about the defense because they are continuing to roll, and we saw a lot of big things, specifically from the 2 safeties that have kind of started to make a pretty big name for themselves. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more right after this.
One second. Okay. There we go. Sorry, I was getting the alert box next to me. I had to fix that. Distracting myself.
Oh, yeah. And J-Pook, we're definitely talking Tyleek because I was
Oh, yeah.
thoroughly impressed.
Yes, for sure. I think we had a ton of alerts, so I'm going to get to those now. I should also remind people, we're halfway through the month and I haven't mentioned it. It's September over on Twitch, and they're running promotions for discounted subs, discounted gifted subs. So if you're over there on YouTube and you want to support and you haven't done it before, or if you have done it a bunch of times and you're on Twitch, go over to twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit. Look for all the September deals wherever they're listed on our site. They're somewhere there. I don't even know what they are, but think about it. All right, let's get to some of the alerts here. David Lunch, thank you for the 31 months subscribed to us on Twitch. Appreciate you. Ultimate Punisher, 5 months, says LFG. AP Durag, 18 months, says looking for a job, boys. Any tips? Oh, boy. I don't know. It's tough out there.
I don't have any advice.
Yeah,
I was
don't know.
reading. I didn't. I was reading. I didn't hear what you said.
Looking for job search tips. It can be bleak
Nah.
out there because I know there's AI tools that are like scanning through resumes, and then you're using AI tools to make your resumes, and it's just like,
Yeah.
are there any people involved with any of this anymore?
I will say this: if you're in the hunt for a job, something that I heard recently is that a lot of employers are really leaning into seeing like how aggressive people are in terms of like reaching out, following up, those types of things. So like the days of like sending in a resume or sending in an application and then like not calling that employer, like sounds like those days are dead. Like if you want a job, you better come very close to almost like begging for it. Almost, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's probably. Why is it still there? Hold on. Oh, I didn't turn the alert box off. There we go. Sorry. No, I think that's good advice. Persistence.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything all the boomers told us to do.
That's right.
Did you call them? Did you follow up? Do you shake
That
their
really
hand?
is. Twister's depth of target is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's averaging out where the ball is every time you touch it or it's thrown at you. So where you are when the ball arrives compared to the line of scrimmage. So
For ADOT?
for ADOT, yep.
Yeah.
And you just average those out. So what? JMO probably got about 4 targets. Is that right?
JMO received 4 targets, yes.
Yeah. So he had the 2 completions. One was relatively short that he turned upfield. The other was the bomb touchdown. He had a post on early in the game that was probably good 30 yards downfield. And then the deep shot that he lost his shoe on. That was probably like 50 yards downfield.
Yeah. I will
the fact
say
that he could have had the fact that he could have had like almost 160 yards receiving, maybe more, if he connects on those other 2 is ridiculous to think about.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the ball that Goff threw to JMO on that one that he caught and turned upfield was an absolute duck. That thing was
really?
like, and JMO had to
it was
come
behind.
back. Right. Like it's just incredible that he caught it out of stride and did what he did after the catch.
Right.
And I was like, in my notes, I was like, I wonder if that's a touchdown if he catches it in stride just because he's that fast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was going to say in the play he lost his shoe, I think part of the reason there was a delay of game on that, or there would have been a delay of game, because Teslaw was just standing where his shoe was and holding it, waiting for JMO to run back. Like he was just like, and that's already like 30 yards downfield, and it's like he doesn't need shoe delivery. You can just go back to the huddle. JMO will probably take the play off because he just ran 50 yards.
Poor guy only played 1 year in the SEC. He's like used to how they do things at Hillsdale College.
He's like, I don't know. I give the whole room snacks. Do I have to give them their shoes now? Is that how that works?
I have to bring orange slices and juice boxes.
I was watching the entire time because like there was something weird. I'm like, why is Teslaw just standing there? And then I realized that there's a shoe there. And then I look and JMO's got 2 different colored feet. I'm like, oh, he's missing a shoe. And then when I watch replays, I'm like, oh yeah, he got stepped on and the shoe came off.
And still beat his defender.
And still kind of beat his defender. Not by a lot, but he did. Yeah.
54 yards per reception yesterday, by the way.
Yeah. Have you seen the clip of him talking about it?
Of the post route that he ran?
No, the
touchdown?
he's mic'd up talking about averaging 54 yards per catch.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
It's on the sideline. It's really, let's pull it up.
I don't know
It's
if you want to
hilarious.
show me that because I'll tag somebody in it. Because I was feeling that way after yesterday.
Listen, that was the first thing that came to mind when I saw the post, and I was like, I couldn't remember who it was, and I couldn't remember exactly what the stat was, and I was like, I'm gonna butcher this if I try to like retweet it and tag Ryan in it. So I was like, I'll just leave it alone.
Now we're watching it.
Oh, man.
Gotta make sure I share sound with you. Share computer sound. Whoops. Wait, where'd it go? Okay. You can see it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm jumping in the middle of this so that hopefully avoiding all the things that may be copyrighted.
8 yards and a touchdown.
I got 108. 2 catches. 108. They're done. Take it out. It's like Randy Moss. I average 50. 2 for 108. I average 50. I average 50. 54. 54 yards and catch.
I love how like the math clicked for him. He was like, no, I don't want people
Wait.
thinking I can't do math. It's 54.
Oh, man. I'm so glad they paid that guy.
Right? He is just so funny. Yeah, hey, Mr. Boost is in our chat, who, by the way, is responsible for these fancy transitions.
Hey, give it up to Mr. Boost.
Yeah,
Not
everyone-
Mr. Beast. Not to be
No.
confused.
Everyone say thank you, Mr. Boost, in the chat. And while you do that, I'm going to get through the rest of these alerts that are still coming in. RGA, thank you for the 34 months, says FTB now and forever. Pirate Dog with a bear emote in the chat and a punching emote in the chat, I guess, as well. Thank you for the 34 months. MJ Kimball, 58 months, says 58 interceptions for the year. Ooh, they gotta make up some time here.
They do.
57 in 15 games. They can do it. I believe in him. Vanoff, thank you for gifting a sub to one of our viewers. Lizoinks, enjoy your free gifted sub.
Lizoinks.
Lizoinks, dude. Scoob. Dasgib, 47 months subscribed to the channel, says, do we need to add FBJ in the chat after yesterday? All right, now that you brought it up, let's talk about it. Pro or anti fuck Ben Johnson chance at Ford Field?
I don't want to be the first one to comment on this.
Pro? Like,
The way you said pro didn't sound like you were pro.
no, because like this is the thing, right? I think it's all part of fandom. Like I get Jared's like standpoint of like, hey, he did a lot here. I don't think he deserved that. I don't think people like genuinely like hate him to like on that level. I think it is just like it's a rivalry and you chose to go to our rival, so it's like, yeah, like screw you for now. But like I don't think it's like that deep.
I think I prefer them to Jared Goff chance.
You hate the Jared Goff chance so much.
But that's what I mean. That's not saying a lot. You know what
Right.
you know what I mean? Like I think Jared obviously took a very like, well, for one, like he had such a great working relationship with that guy
Of
for so
course.
long, and you're not just going to throw that all away because of one ill-fated decision that Ben Johnson has made to, sign a deal with the devil and Ryan Poles. I don't know how Ryan Poles. Do you guys remember when Ryan Poles got a contract extension in the offseason and we're all kind of like, I wonder why? Like, I'm trying to
Yeah.
understand why. I'm still trying to understand why. I'm trying to understand why Ryan Poles got a contract extension. But yeah, I Jeremy, I know, probably know, right? Not a fan.
I don't know. I mean, like, I wouldn't participate if I were a fan in the stands. But I certainly understand why. Like, I don't think this is like classless move from Lions fans. Like,
Oh,
no,
yeah, it's not that at all.
I think
No.
I'm much closer to Mika, where it's just like, yeah, he went to a rival. Of course that's gonna happen. Of course that chant's gonna break out. And I'm with you too. Like, I don't think this is a, hey, I hate the person. I want everything bad to happen to you. It's like, it's Lions versus Bears, and you're the Bears coach, and you used to be the coach here. F you. Like, okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. Like, that is sound logic. I get it.
Yeah, I think to that same logic, like I think about like what BB said after the game, where it's like there's a certain level of it where it's like you take it personal, but he was also like, but we love Ben. Like it's
Right,
not
yes.
it's not I hate you forever. It's not a, hey, if I saw you, if I ran into Ben Johnson in the airport, I wouldn't be like sitting in the corner like mean mugging the hell out of him. I'd be like, oh, like, hey, it's Ben Johnson.
Right.
Like I probably would go ask for an autograph still and just be like, hey, like appreciate for everything you did here for Detroit.
Right.
On game day, yeah, it's screw you though. Like
Yeah.
I stayed off Twitter for the most part yesterday until the game was decidedly in hand and I could start firing off receipts that I
so
had.
third quarter.
Yeah. But one of my favorite tweets from yesterday was somebody quote tweeted the video of Ben Johnson walking out, like the boos that came down.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, we weren't booing Ben Johnson, we were booing Kelly Stafford's kids.
There's been a lot of kids jokes in the chat right now too. That is very funny though. I like that like some reporters that aren't in the know, like national guys, are like, you wouldn't believe the Lions booed Ben Johnson, like loud boos with Ben Johnson coming out of the tunnel. I'm like, yeah, that happens every week because it's not Ben Johnson. It's the entire opposing team coming out of the tunnel. They get booed 100% of the time, and it's also one of the loudest moments in the pregame process every single week. That didn't feel extra at all. That felt like, oh yeah, the Bears just came out of the tunnel.
Yeah, who did they get that opinion from? Jimmy Fallon?
I think to highlight that point even more, like if the Lions played the Jets this year, like I feel like Aaron Glenn would get like a standing ovation almost. Like,
I would hope so. I would try to
Right,
lead
like-
that.
No, they'd still get booed running out of the tunnel though.
Yeah.
I don't think people care about the Jets. I mean, depending on what's said, like leading up to the week,
Yeah.
but like I think in general, like in that same scenario that Ryan's talking about, where like you just see Ben Johnson walking down the sideline with like him and like his assistant coaches or whoever's behind him, and it's like boos raining out. Like I don't think you would get that situation with AG. Like I don't think it'd be like a resounding like applause, but it's not going to be like you're definitely not get like FAG chance. Like you're not getting that.
No, but they're getting booed. They're getting booed. That's just
Yeah,
how
the
it
team
works.
would.
Yeah. The Jets aren't a rival. Also, yes, very true. Okay, I think that's all the FBJ chant discussion we need.
Feels good.
Yeah.
But just like one of my favorite moments of the game was also Ben Johnson trying to take his team off the field at halftime and having to walk his ass back out to the sideline to get a touchdown scored on him.
Do we want to talk
That
about
has
that
to
on
be
the
humbling.
podcast or off the podcast? Because I don't know. It deserves discussion because if it happened to us, we would not stop talking about it right now.
Yeah, but if you also gave up I feel like we would not be we would still be talking about if you gave up a touchdown. Like you could have also just not given up an easy touchdown to Amon-Ra in that situation.
Yeah, it was funny because Tony Dungy was pointing it out, I think on Sunday Night Football, where he was like, why are your safeties 7 yards deep in the end zone? Like, they're not going to stop a touchdown from happening back there, like on a pass that needs to happen in a hurry. He's like, why are you leaving Amon-Ra covered one-on-one on the outside? Like, that's just a rest. Like, the Bears deserve, like, even if they're, even if the rule did get to them, like, you deserve that for coaching malpractice on the goal line.
So yeah, but talk like
these are
Jeremy,
bad
can you
faith
explain that?
arguments. I'm sorry, you guys
What are
would
bad
be
faith
livid.
arguments?
You guys
About
would be
about
livid.
the 10
You wouldn't be
second
like,
runoff?
we got to stop the touchdown. You would be
Yeah.
livid.
No, if they had 2 seconds space or 6 seconds on the clock,
Which
And
they should have
you
had
can't- and they're-
0.
I guess explain all of it then.
Okay.
yeah,
So what happened was TeSlaa caught the pass with about 16 seconds left. The side judge waved his arms to stop the clock. He thought he went out of bounds.
Yep.
The clock operator did not stop the clock. It continued to run. Now, the part that I don't remember, because I was in the midst of watching Isaac TeSlaa make an incredible catch, I don't know if the Lions took a breather. Like did they see him do this and stop running down the field, or were they running down from the field like crazy anyways? Because
I mean,
they
that
saw that the
that
clock
would
was running.
That would certainly change things, though, right? Like
Yes,
if they see an
yes.
official saying, "Oh,
Yes.
we're stopping,"
Correct.
that in and of itself changes everything.
Yes. And I don't have the answer to that question. But what I do know is that eventually they started running down the field and they spiked it and arguably did not get the spike off.
It was very close.
It was very close.
yeah.
It was very close.
But so the officials, because the official on the field, it doesn't matter what the clock operator does in this instance, because the official on the field said, stop the clock, he's out of bounds, it kicked the review off. And so if the review would have said that, yep, he was out of bounds, the Lions would have gotten the ball with 16 seconds left. What they found, though, was he was in bounds. The clock should have continued to run. And even though it did continue to run, they have to operate by the rules that they did stop the clock at 16 seconds, which was wrong. And when there's an overturn that moves a stopped clock to a running clock, you burn 10 seconds. That's the 10-second runoff rule. So the Lions benefited, like they got at least 5 extra seconds because of this. Because if it would have been called correctly on the field, they would have had the clock would have run. They would have had to sprint down and maybe got the spike off.
Yeah, I still think I would have been of the opinion of like you still have an opportunity to not give up points. Like especially if the Lions were kicking a field goal in that situation, I'd be like, all right, like I probably would be a little more annoyed. But like they went for a play to score a touchdown, so which means you have an opportunity to not give up points there.
Yeah, it's hard. You can't even see, like, you can't see it on the all 22, but like as I'm watching the play, like there's a lot of Lions players like Amon-Ra that's just like standing there.
Right.
Like after they're looking at what happened on the Tesla catch and they see the ref do this.
Mhm.
So if the ref does this, then like we have a break and we don't have to rush all the way down there. So
Because there's another hand gesture for a running clock, right? Like he has to like wind it, like so like I think that would elicit a different response from the team where like everyone's
Sure. If everyone saw that, right? There might who's looking at that? Who's looking at the physical clock that is running? Like they're getting two
you would have
different-
got your you would have got your Riley moment. You would have got Jared
Yes.
Goff.
Right.
Taylor.
Maybe we did. Maybe it happened. Maybe it happened. Maybe Taylor saw the wave and he's like celebrating the Tesla pick and Jared Goff's looking at the clock and it's running and he's screaming at him.
Yeah.
Maybe all that happened. I don't know. I don't have those answers, but
I guess the other thing is that call it bad faith arguments all you want. We've been on the other side of it. So sucks to be on the other side of it, Bears fans.
right.
Man.
But we look back at that Falcons game and we aren't like, well, Tate should have been a half closer yard
but
in.
that's not-
He should have
that's-
scored.
But that's not the same. Like that's a situation of like, oh, scoring in that situation and then getting an opportunity. Like the Lions didn't have another opportunity after that to score.
True.
The game ended.
But let me ask
The
you
Bears
this.
had an opportunity to not give up points. And you did.
If the play is called correctly on the field and the Lions get a spike off with 1 second, are they going for it or are they kicking the field goal?
They're going for it. They were already up by a touchdown, right?
One
It
touchdown,
was
yeah.
it was 14-7.
21-14.
Oh yeah.
21-14, but the Bears were getting the ball out of the half.
Yes.
So I think they would have kicked the field goal to go up by 2 possessions. I think personally
were at
they would
the-
have.
It's
hard to say.
Where were they at again?
4, I
They were
think.
at
Is it
4?
Is it either 4 or 6?
So
Yeah,
in
I
this,
feel like
but was there what there in this hypothetical scenario? Are you talking about like Jared Goff gets the spike off with 1 second, so they literally only
Correct.
have one play?
Correct.
I think they kicked the field goal.
It was 4, the 4-yard line.
yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like Dan breaks out the wheelbarrow and is like,
But this is what I'm saying. Like, if they go for it, and in this hypothetical they miss, which is adding another hypothetical because they did go for it and they made it. That is an entirely different ball game when it's a 7-point game and the Bears are coming out of the half with the ball, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
also
know,
the Bears.
it
That's
is.
the Bears fans' argument too. Like, oh man, we got screwed, and that changed the whole game.
Well, it's not entirely
50,
wrong. Like, I don't think.
52.
Listen, I'm
You
not
were
going to sit
getting
here and tell you.
52.
They were getting-
52. 52.
I'm with you. But yeah, I mean, the closeness of the game does matter, right? It changes how you call a football game. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, the Bears had a legitimate chance to win if that was called correctly. No, they didn't.
Yeah. So
But-
wait. So is that touchdown so deflating, and is their head coach so incapable of getting their team back up that they come out at half and they go 3 and out?
No, there's just a little bit more. You have to play with a little bit more urgency down 2 scores instead of 1.
I mean, yeah.
And
I mean,
Ben
you-
Johnson
you're still
can't
talking-
muster up that urgency. Is that what we're saying here? Is that pickle juice?
No, I didn't say momentum. I'm not even arguing momentum. I'm arguing that the score of the game changes how you call a game.
Liam, that's
Wow, that is the
wow.
most insulting
Wow.
thing anyone has ever said to me, Liam.
Wow.
That is rude.
Jeremy skirts around momentum, guys. You have to understand this.
I talk around it like it doesn't exist.
Much like the Bears' chances in the second half of that football game.
All right, let me get through the rest of the alerts here. We have gone wildly. I guess we're not going to talk about that during the podcast because I think we just exhausted everything to say about that sequence of events.
And we still haven't talked about the defense, which is good because that's
True.
the second segment.
True. It'll be a bonus episode where we'll just talk about that and people can yell at me for playing devil's advocate. Where were we? Tiny Bob, thank you for the 3 months subscribed on Twitch. Says we are so back. Hashtag FTB. Jed in Savannah 100 bits says caramel apple empanadas and the Lions offense are back. LFG. Well, raise your hand if you're in this Zoom call and you've had a caramel apple empanada since Taco Bell brought them back. Yeah.
What if you have
think
you
this
had
passed.
have you had more than one? Keep your hand raised.
If you have
3.
more than 5.
Hold on. In one bag.
Oh, okay, hold on. They weren't all mine.
Because they couldn't all fit?
No, I'm just saying, like, I had to share with the kids because they actually ended up liking them.
Did
So
you just like cut off like a little piece of yours? Like here.
no,
Like
so
they're
fun
birds.
fact.
Just throw them little crumbs.
So fun fact. Apparently, Taco Bell only makes 5 at a time. So if you order more than 5,
You found this out because you ordered so many.
no, actually, nope, not true, not true. It's fake news. Fake news. My wife used to work at Taco Bell. She told me ahead of time.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought
So she would, yeah, no,
you
she was
found that
like,
out in the drive-through at the second window. They're like, we only make 5 at a time. You got to pull up. You got to pull up, buddy.
nah. They just, she could, like, they confirmed it because they were like, they gave me the bag and they were like, hey, 5 of these are like, okay. They're like, but one just literally just came out. And I was like,
Piping hot.
I took all of them.
I had a similar experience over the weekend. I got 2 double-decker tacos and an empanada. It took them a long time, presumably because of what you just said. Like they had to make the empanadas, and they gave it to me, and they're like, typically we're supposed to wait 10 minutes before we can give you this. So, for the love of God, don't eat this on your drive home.
Dude, what a good call by them though, right? Like
Right?
Is it make me like a terrible person that like I wanted to eat that one first? They were like, hey, there's one of these, and I was just, they were like, they even said they marked it. They were like, hey, we put a black mark on the one that's like piping hot, and I was like,
it's just like a
want that
radioactive.
one.
Like you need gloves to handle this fresh out of the deep fryer. No,
Oh,
it was.
man.
I don't mess around with things that are too hot. I've burned the roof of my mouth too many times, and it's like it becomes an issue for the week. Like my the roof of the mouth is peeling 4 days later. My tongue can't taste anything on that part of the tongue.
dude, is there
It's the
anything
worst.
worse than burning your tongue on hot coffee in the morning? Because it's a tone setter for, like you said, not just the day, but it feels like
I
for
got-
48
I got
hours I'm
something.
not enjoying myself.
I got something, but
You got
know,
a couple of things?
I got a couple of things that's worse, but I'm sure that makes the list somewhere.
While we're speaking
Wow.
of drive-throughs, Eric turned to me after the Lions scored their 52nd point and like, they got to score a touchdown. They got to get to 55. Because we got to do the I think you should leave meme. We just have to. 55 points, 55 burgers, 55 pizzas.
That's what. Okay. I saw him tweet like they need to get to 55, and I was like, oh man. Because is 55 also the
It's a franchise record as well, yeah.
yeah. The only other thing I guess we didn't talk about though, Ben Johnson wise, is Dan Campbell could have kicked a field goal.
I'm still a little surprised he didn't.
I
I'm
remember in
very
real
surprised.
I remember in real time being like, oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken, it was a 24-point game at the time. So a field goal makes it a theoretical 3-point game into a 4-point game or 4-score game, 3-score game to a 4-score game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It accomplishes what you need to essentially clinch any sort of realistic chance of a comeback.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions and a field goal.
Right. Yes. And somewhere in there probably requires at least 2 onside kick recoveries.
Yeah.
He
didn't have to do all that.
He didn't.
Nah.
And I don't know how I feel about it.
I know how I feel about it.
I loved it.
I thought it was hilarious. But it was one of those things where it was like, this is going to be a topic of discussion.
Yeah. I was a little bit surprised no one asked Dan about it after the game.
Were you surprised
They knew
that
better.
anybody asked Ben Johnson about it?
No. Well, considering the person that asked them, I am not surprised at all that Ben Johnson got asked about it. And to Ben's credit, great answer.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic answer. And if you haven't seen it or heard it, I can pull it up verbatim. But like, I don't know. Like, I never thought Ben was going to take offense to that, but I thought and it was a little combative, to be fair. If I just read the words, it doesn't sound as combative as maybe it was. But it was more combative at the reporter than it was at Dan.
Yeah. Man, but after that play happened, that's when I rolled up my sleeves and I really got the thumbs working.
So Ben Johnson says, what's he supposed to do? It's 4th and goal. What do you want him to do? He could have kicked the field goal. They don't kick field goals. They go for it there. He was doing what he was supposed to do. That's what he does.
Yeah, all that true. On a day where we're going to talk about it in the second segment, Ben Johnson tried to go for it a couple times on 4th down.
He did. He did not succeed.
Dan was like, let me show you how this works, kid. Oh man,
that game hit like crack for sure. Like,
it was exactly what we needed as a fan base. Because I was talking with some reporters before the game, and we were like, this fan base is gonna flip out if they lose this game. You know what? This fan base probably is gonna flip out if it's close. And we were all predicting it to be close. We were also talking about, like, I don't know if I can predict this offense to have more than, like, 24, 27 points in the game right now because, like, the offensive line was that bad. And then, like,
I expected them to be better. I did not expect it to be
back.
This. Because to your point that you made, yeah, to the point that you made in the first segment about, like, the Bears do play the Lions pretty tough at times. So, like, I just thought, like, okay, like, they'll have their moments. Goff is probably going to throw a terrible interception to TJ Edwards at some point in time.
Right. Yes.
And they're like, the Bears are going to get a short field to get an easy touchdown and keep it, like, closer than it probably should be. And it was not that at all. Like,
yeah. It was as close to offensive perfection as you can get in this league, I think. Like, you can say, yeah, they should have scored on a drive that started at the Bears 38 or whatever it was. And you're not wrong, but to expect, scoring drive every time you touch the ball is unrealistic. All right, I still have a lot of alerts to get to, so...
do that.
Let me get through these. Jay Lee's 11 months subscribed on Twitch. Says, everyone took a positive step in the right direction. Keep cleaning little stuff up, and we can take down the Ravens. Quirky Zerky, 46 months, says, sheesh, more points scored than months subbed. Go Lions. Yeah, you got to catch up here. 6 more months. QPEC, 26 months, says, Green Bay D getting too much credit. Rusty start for Detroit, and Washington's offense is ass. Only 21 points in week 1, and on New York Giants, they gave up 40 to Dallas. I mean, maybe. Our good friend Z Snyder.
Who does Green Bay play this week?
I don't know. Okay. It's not someone good. It's like Arizona or something.
No. So yeah, they're gonna look dominant. Okay.
20 months subscribed, Zach. Appreciate you, buddy. Kylo Den, 13 months, says Super Bowl's back on. Got whiplash from that 180 vibe shift. You're not wrong. It was wild. Laser Mouse, 24 months subscribed on Twitch, says FTB. Oh, it's the Browns. Dang, even worse. JPook 34 months
Yeah,
says divulge
that's
it,
gonna be
Jeremy.
gross.
What did that mean, JPook? That was an hour ago, so I don't know what you were talking about. JPook, sorry, it took so long to get to your thingy. D Lions for Life 18 months says happy to see the good old Lions hang in a 50 burger. Go Loins, go Loins.
Go
Katie
Lions.
from Michigan 54 months also says 50 burger. And Katie's been subscribed longer than the amount of points. Oh, I'm not divulging Lions secrets. Yeah, no, I can't do that. Darth Tater 27 months subscribed on Twitch. Veltron 31 months subscribed on Twitch. Keith $5 super chat on YouTube says colon love fart was clenched inside Alex Anzalone's zone all game. Yeah, that I wasted the entire week not making a. I'm gonna get his actual name wrong again because I'm not entirely sure what it is.
Colston Loveland?
Colston? It's Colston, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was Colton. No, it is Colston. You're right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was an ongoing joke all off season when we were talking about the draft that I continued to get his name wrong. And I think I called him Colton at least once.
Big Michigan guy.
Big Michigan guy. Nap Dance Queen, 33 months, subscribed on Twitch, says, been a while since I've made it to a live stream. We are so back. Hey, welcome back. Good to see you again.
It's been a while.
Kodak, 28 months, subscribed on Twitch. Mr. Boost, hey, we were just shouting out for our awesome transition. Here's another look. 2 months subscribed to the channel. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks again for the transition. RGA 15-bit says, any word on Kirby's injury? Said mind over matter, hinting he was playing with pain. No word on it. I mean, he played the entire game until they pulled their starter, so I'm not too concerned about it. I don't love that he's playing with a lingering injury. Kind of in the same way I don't love that Taylor Decker's playing with what might be a lingering injury, but such is the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that Brian Branch avoided anything serious because the way that his leg whipped around, I was like, oh, no, not that again. And the way that he was walking so gingerly off the field.
Right. And I didn't want to prepare to talk on this podcast for 15 minutes about the merits of pulling your starters and when to do that. And I don't want to have that. I mean, we could still have it, but I don't really want to.
Such is the constraints of the game day active roster.
Don't want to either.
Oh, that's right. Branch did get pulled off a little bit more than just at the end of the game. I forgot.
Oh, that's right. Jeremy, you mean Deion Branch, right?
That's right.
Deion Branch. Jonathan Vilma was having flashbacks to getting cooked as a Jets linebacker.
Kirby. I meant Kirby. I just said Branch, but I meant Kirby. Anyways, Dan Campbell, Ample, thank you for the 27 months, says, can we now say Ben Johnson is worse than Eberflus? I don't think you can say that.
I am starting to wonder when we can start talking about Caleb Williams
It's too early.
being not that much more of an improvement over
There
in terms of team
is
performance.
yeah, there's a lot of Caleb apologists coming out of the woodwork though.
Well, it's 2 games into a new system. Like what are we doing here?
No. I get it, but I'm saying that there's it seems like there's a lot, and this is just the thing that was annoying in general. And it sounds very much like a Detroit versus everybody argument, but I went through Bill Barnwell's feed. I went through Mina Kimes, friend of the show's feed. Not a lot of talk about how the Lions were hanging 52 points after all this consternation and Peter Schrager crossing his legs in a fireside lounge chat about how Jared Goff. And admittedly, he posted some things yesterday that was wow, that was incredible. What a way to bounce back and answer the call kind of thing. But there's just no, there's very little coming out in terms of wow, the Lions, wow, that was a big statement game back. It was crickets.
Really? I don't feel like I had that same experience.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not consuming a ton on game day, but when I turned on Sunday Night Football, I was like, oh damn, the Lions are back. Damn. Well, guess that was all
I did
premature.
see a few people. I was say I did see a few people make that statement in regards to all right, we probably jumped the gun on this one, but
there was a lot of
surprise me.
transitive property Packers defense stuff for sure.
Oh, there was a lot of Albert Breer, right? That was the other tweet where it's oh, the Lions did all this on the Bears so far today. Guess the Packers defense must just be that good. It's like,
Yeah.
can you pay one compliment, or do you have to stick to the brain drain narrative?
Yeah, it is what it is. BT Benny, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. All right. You guys ready to get back to it? We got Sunday or Monday night football games already near kicking off here because of the double header thing.
How many weeks? They always do this for like the first like month of the season.
I kind of like it. I'm not even gonna lie.
I do not like any football games starting at 10:30 p.m.
I mean,
I'm going to see zero of that football game, and I kind of want to watch it. Like I'm intrigued by the Chargers this year.
Same, and I'm kind of curious. Like, I'm equally intrigued by whatever the hell is happening with the Raiders.
Right.
And
yeah,
I'm also equally intrigued that it's Harbaugh versus Carroll again. So that's fun and exciting.
yeah. And what's Carroll going to kick through pregame this week? You saw the story, right? Where
No, what?
like last Saturday before the Sunday game, he destroyed a whiteboard. He walked down the aisle. It was like this huge lead up, and then he just like boom. He just like destroyed a whiteboard in front of the team to get them all hyped up.
Dude, and he's
73.
not a young guy.
He's
Like
like
74.
He's 74.
He turned 74 today. Happy birthday, Pete Carroll.
Hey.
That would have been the like funniest thing ever. Pete Carroll gets put on IR for dislocating hip.
Let me see if I can find I think it was a Schefter tweet, so it might have a couple of errors in it. Okay. No, it was Rappaport. Says, what kind of impression did Raiders coach Pete Carroll make in his first pregame meeting? Sources say he kicked through a whiteboard, smashing it, sending the team into delirium.
Oh man, I get that's such low-hanging fruit for Max Crosby. Max Crosby loved that. And I get it. Like, that's not an indictment on him. Like, I just love it. Know your audience. Know your team.
When I saw that tweet, I'm like, delirium is such a funny, weird word to use in that case. But
yeah,
I still love the story.
Yeah, I'm with you though. Like, I want to watch that game, but I'm gonna fall asleep to it at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it that far.
Yeah, maybe it'll be that boring where it's like, okay, yeah, you won't miss anything.
Yeah. So much injury news too. I know we need to get back to it, but like, Jesus. I mean, I'm saying that like the Packers people need to get brought down a peg. They need to get brought down a peg. Like I'm seeing people on Packers Twitter talk about like, and not just like 12-year-olds with Jordan Love profile pictures. I'm talking about like people who cover the Packers saying that, oh, they're using this ankle injury to shield the fact that they're really benching JJ McCarthy. And I'm like,
I thought about that for a second. I'm like, no.
Come on. Be real.
If he's that software 2 starts, like he already can't handle the negative part of the NFL, like he'd be done for. Like there's no saving someone like that.
You guys aren't looking forward to the Carson Wentz resurgence story? What's going to come out of this?
Dude, poor Arif Hassan is going through it. Like when they signed Carson Wentz, like there were a lot of F-bombs on his timeline. And then there was somebody who pointed out, because I'm pretty sure they have an international game this year.
Oh yeah, they do.
And now Carson Wentz is going to be the starter in that international game. Yeah. And I think Arif is going to that game.
Arif is not coming back from that game. He's going to throw himself in the English Channel. Oh, Dublin, whatever.
No, poor Arif. I feel so bad.
But no, it's Kevin O'Connell. Like you can throw Joey Harrington today in there, and he'll.
That's why I said there's going to be a resurgence story.
Yeah, yeah, could be the Pastronaut all over again.
Apparently, everyone but JJ McCarthy can succeed in this offense.
It's not looking
I'm
great.
not cover my Michigan thing when I say that.
Hey, Brandon's gonna come after you. I dare you.
Speak clearly into the microphone. I mean, you do have to consider a newborn, just 48 hours old. So I mean, like that's a hard thing to navigate.
I can't believe we're using that as an excuse.
Well,
That
if
should have been Mike's.
go ahead.
Mind.
No,
No, I was gonna say I could use that as an excuse too. Like if this podcast doesn't go well today, guys, like fresh off of vasectomy, like it's just
I was gonna say if we're using it for JJ McCarthy, we can use it for Jared Goff. That's why the offense looked a little rusty in week
That's right.
one. Jared
Right.
Goff, newborn in the offseason. The Joe Burrow stuff.
Oh,
it
Cram's
sucks, though.
your vasectomy buddy. Cram got one last week
Hey.
too.
let's go.
I like 2 hours ago when we're like, hey, let's not have a long break in between segment 1 and segments 2.
Yeah,
we're
we
the
tried.
problem. We're liars. Yeah, of course.
Vasectomo brothers?
That's how you say it in Spanish.
I don't think that's true. I think Hermanos is probably somewhere involved in that.
Vasectobros. That sounds.
I don't like where this conversation is headed. I am
Imagine
ready
that
to
on a
talk about the
t-shirt
Lions
with the
defense.
POD logo.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Segment 2. Here we go.
And welcome back to the Pride of Detroit POD cast, segment 2 here. And we're going to be talking a lot about the Lions defense, who had another really good performance. We talked about it last week, how despite the loss, that was one of the bright spots of that game, was that the defense, specifically in the second half, was really starting to put things together, really starting to make things pretty difficult for Green Bay. Much like the Lions offense this week, though, like I felt like the defense got off to a pretty good start. Yes, they gave up like that first drive, giving up a touchdown to the Bears, but coming off that Green Bay game where no turnovers, no sacks, we saw a lot of that in this game, Jeremy. And I feel like the Lions star players on defense really stepped up in a big way this game.
Yeah, no doubt. One of Brian Branch's better games in recent memory. Obviously came up huge in several moments, whether it was the sack that he got, the forced fumble, had another tackle for loss. He was just all over the place. Really, I mean, it was an up and down defensive performance for me. Some good, some bad, but I think what turned out to be really good for the defense is that they were like, it was the true definition of complementary football when, you know, the Lions were going through that one time in which the offense was stalling a little bit when they had all these opportunities. Well, they had all those opportunities because the Lions defense was playing out of their mind there, right? They get the forced fumble, they get a couple of fourth down stops, they get the interception from Kirby. So it felt to me like there were issues. You know, the run defense wasn't great. I still don't think the outside corners are playing as good as they're capable of in coverage. But there was still more good than bad. And like you said, to get these game-changing plays when you had 0 of them last week, 4 sacks, 2 turnovers, 2 fourth down stops, that was extremely encouraging to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, I do want to highlight what Jeremy was saying specifically about the outside corners not necessarily playing up to par. I think there's still like a wait and see on DJ Reed. I haven't seen a ton from him to make me like concerned, but I do feel like there's a lot of chatter coming specific out of this game about Terrion Arnold and whether or not he's truly making that leap in his play in this, this early into year 2.
Yeah, it certainly, I think the offseason there was enough talk about Terrion Arnold taking that leap, whether it was, reports from training camp or even Kelvin Shepherd himself saying, oh, Terrion is he's making that leap. Like he's making that jump to being a guy who we can trust in these situations to be like a man on man outside corner press, all that stuff that is admittedly incredibly difficult. Like it's the hardest position to play, arguably in football outside of quarterback. Like the toughest role and responsibility when you're in this style of defense. And it was just like an up and down day. I think like for the good plays, there were bad plays. There was the getting beat on the double move on third and long, right? Like that eventually led to the pass interference penalty. I think to maybe Jeremy's point too, like if you look at some of the run defense, I think DJ Reed had a pretty darn good game in run defense, made some plays, had a stop on defense when it really seemed like the Bears made their mark in the running game, getting things to the outside. Like that was the calling card. And that was the thing that I think I was most surprised about with this defensive performance was how well the Bears ran the football and the success rate that they had rushing the football, and especially just like winning the battle at the line of scrimmage at the edge, right? Like getting to the edge and making their hay that way. But like, I don't know, Jeremy, I think I don't want to say we're getting to any kind of like, oh, you should be worried about Terrion Arnold. Week 1 dealt with the injury, had to leave the game. Week 2, again, some good, some bad. It still just continues to be a work in progress, I think, for a year 2 player.
I do wonder how much of this Terrion Arnold narrative changes if Brian Branch doesn't come down on Caleb Williams' head.
Yeah, on paper, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if Brian Branch isn't a banshee. Yeah.
Right. So PFF had him pretty lowly graded, said he gave up 6 catches on 9 attempts for 89 yards, had a pass breakup. He also had a stop. Like, I think what he's done a relatively good job of is keeping things in front of him outside of the double move and outside of the weird zone coverage deep shot that the Bears the Packers connected on last week. I don't think he was an issue in this game, but he wasn't particularly good or particularly bad. There's one play where like he undercut a route and he was like a half step late, and it could have been a pick six. Like he was in the right spot, but like he just got a little over aggressive, I think. And so it to me, there's nothing where he's egregiously out of place. To me, it's just like these incremental slow gains that are really hard to quantify. One of the receptions he gave up was on third down, and he tackled him 2 yards short. Like that is a win, but on PFF it probably looks bad because you gave up a coverage. Your coverage wasn't tight and whatever. So I and then the other thing on top of it is you consider the Lions' game plan in this game where we're not just trying to rush the quarterback. We're trying to surround him. We're trying to slowly close in the pocket, which means you're going to have to cover for a little bit longer. Makes his job a little bit harder. And I know it probably sounds like I'm excuse making for Terrion and maybe a way I am a little bit, but I don't think I see anything overly concerning at this moment right now. It's just not where it needs to be.
So one question I do have for you is, one, do we think, for both of you, honestly, either of you can answer, but like, do we think the groin injury is still bothering him? Because Jeremy, to your point about two of like the bigger throws that he gave up, or 2 bigger receptions that he gave up, were kind of like these outbreaking routes, right? Like he had one against DJ Moore that was kind of like a quick little like dig route type of route. And he's a little slow to like open up and kind of like get into like a good trail position behind DJ Moore in that situation. And the other one that you kind of highlighted where he tries to undercut the out route to Rome Odunze, and it's just like a little late, and it's also like the depth isn't quite there.
Yeah.
Those were a couple of plays that I like in watching him where I'm just like, he doesn't look like he's making like the quick twitch type of movements that he needs to get into position so that he can challenge these plays a little bit better. And the thought did come into my mind where it's like, is this possibly just not like still having some lingering issues with the groin injury, or is this just, again, just not recognizing things quick enough to be able to get into the proper position?
Well, you know what Kelvin Shepard would say. If you're injured,
hurt,
get off the field. Get off the field. Get off the field. So I don't know. I mean, there is part of it where it's like, hey, Rome Odunze is also a pretty darn good player, right? Like there has to be at least a little acknowledgement that that's a good receiver. But welcome to the NFC North. There's a lot of good receivers in this division that you're going to have to go up against. So he needs to be better, no doubt about it to me. But again, like nothing to me screams like it's time to start panicking. Where is all this improvement we saw and heard about in training camp? Like, let's see it. Let's wait it play out. Let's let it play out a little bit more. And again, it's not like he's just getting cooked. I don't think he's getting cooked. I think he's like just a half step behind, which is, I mean, welcome to the NFL. That's how it works, especially if you're in man coverage as much as the Lions are.
Yeah, right. I think people would like to see him probably contest a little bit better, probably be in phase a little bit better. A lot of what we saw last year was him being in phase and then probably just not getting his head turned around quick enough, or being a little too grabby at the top of routes. It just, to me, at least, like, it's in these first couple games, it does seem like he's just like a half step behind in certain situations.
Yeah, as Alex Reno pointed out in our Slack, a little bit of Nevin Lawson, like right spot, right time, just not making plays maybe as much as you'd like to see. I say that obviously a little tongue in cheek, and I think Alex was too, obviously. I think another big takeaway was the fact that Marcus Davenport got hurt, and it's week 2, and we're back here again, and it feels like Groundhog Day. And I know Dan Campbell in his press conference today said that things aren't entirely clear. They're waiting to hear more information about his injury and where they move on from here. So I guess I just kind of want to come back to this point of discussion that we talked about all offseason long. And I think all of us were pretty much in agreement that you got to give Marcus Davenport a shot, and we're here again. So where do the Lions go from here? And who do you think you can trust opposite of Aiden Hutchinson? We're beating that dead horse again. Here we go.
I don't get me wrong. I reacted very quickly the minute he went down, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" There's no way this is happening this quickly. And to your point, Ryan, Dan did say like, "Hey, they're still waiting to get a second opinion. They're still waiting to see, how severe things are." Jeremy, to me, that's still concerning. Sure. Like the fact that it's like, because when it's not an issue, Dan says that like, "Oh no, he'll be fine," or he'll be fairly transparent, like, "Oh, we think he'll be down a couple days." When you have to come out and say like, "Yeah, we have to get a second opinion," and it's like, "Oh, well, that sounds like a guy that's going to miss time," and it's at a position where you don't have a lot of options like readily available to play heavy snap counts at that position. It's a little concerning to me. But Ryan, to answer your question, I mean, this sounds like a perfect opportunity to get Al-Quadin Muhammad more involved, who had a good game this past Sunday as well. So that's probably where I think they go, Jeremy. But yeah, I'm not loving the fact that we're only 2 weeks into the season already having this conversation about Davenport.
Yeah, I'm trying not to jump to too many conclusions here with Davenport, because there are some positive signs. Like, he came back from the ankle injury and played. He got a sack after the ankle injury, injured his shoulder on the sack, but then he came back later in the game. Like, he did come back after both the shoulder and ankle injury and finished the game, and that was important for him. But to your point, how often do you seek a second opinion when you're happy with the first one? Probably not all that often, right? I don't get the sense that this is going to be something that's going to be like put him down for a month, but yeah, you could miss a game or two, which it's not the end of the world. Like, I think when we're all concerned about the, an injury to Marcus Davenport, you're like, oh, he's going to miss 12 games. He's going to miss 14 games. He's not going to be worth all the money you're spending on him. If he misses 1 or 2 here and then he's fine, which I know, like, how can you trust him if he just got injured and that's all we're talking about? Fair. But this is an NFL season. Most players are going to miss a game or two. Like, most players are going to miss a game or two. You don't want it to be this week, right, against a really good Ravens team. But, yeah, Muhammad, I thought, was fantastic in his 7 snaps in week 1. I thought he was pretty darn good this past week against the Bears. And Dan Campbell did too. And he even said, like, not even knowing what's up with Davenport, they're going to give Al-Quadin Muhammad more playing time. And I know that's not a sexy name. I know the guy's been around for 7-8 years or however long it's been, and doesn't have the resume that a Zadarius Smith has, but he's proven he can play in this defense and been productive over a half a season or whatever it's been, including in training camp. So it's not ideal. And who's behind Al-Qadim Muhammad? Great question. I don't have an answer to that either. Maybe at that point you're talking about Pat O'Connor. Maybe you're, I don't know, just biding time until Hassanin can come back or whatever. Who knows what that timeline looks like. It's not a good situation. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Marcus Davenport being injured, they're going to be fine. We were already concerned about their pass rush, and so losing a starter would not be great. But I do like what I've seen from Muhammad, and I am a little excited to just see him get more opportunities.
Yeah, and for the rest of the defensive line, I thought that there were some interesting notes to make about snap counts. A lot less play for DJ Reader, thank goodness, because that guy got way too overworked in week one. So that was a correction I think many of us were expecting, but there were a lot of notes that I saw a lot of positive from Roy Lopez, and I know Dan Campbell talked about that as well, but like he has really good get off. And he's a guy who, he played 31 snaps. He outsnapped DJ Reader himself. You get him, you get, a lot of contributions from Mekhi Wingo.
He played a ton.
He played more than both the guys I just mentioned.
Yeah.
The only defensive lineman who played more snaps than Mekhi Wingo was Aiden Hutchinson. So, I think that goes to show how much they kind of will lean on his versatility. I think if you miss Marcus Davenport for an extended period of time, he's one of those guys who is a piece and you can move around. Pat O'Connor is a piece that you can move around. Yep. Another guy who earned the praise from Dan Campbell today when he was talking about special teams. So again, it's not like an ideal situation. Hopefully the Marcus Davenport stuff isn't for an extended period of time. Hopefully it's not like, oh, maybe we'll get him back after the bye week kind of thing, because then I think the people who at least were pounding the table and maybe not saying like, oh, it needs to be Max Crosby or Myles Garrett or, whomever it may have been, but like where was the depth, right? Where was the move to like get guys specifically at that position? Because I know we've talked about, the Levi Onwuzurike, he could play outside, and they drafted Ahmed Hassanin, and it's like, okay,
Josh
but like
Pascal got injured also.
Josh Pascal guy, again, a guy who has dealt with injuries pretty consistently in his career. Yep. So I think those arguments start to have a little bit more merit. And you wonder if, you see, the Eagles who already went out and got Zadarius Smith. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious that the Cowboys signed Jadeveon Clowney.
After the game.
Was it like minutes after the game or something? Right. So I guess you just wonder like who's out there, I guess, moving forward. And that's something I think obviously you have to wait to see what the news is with Marcus Davenport before you start to have those kind of discussions. But it's just something that like it sucks as a Lions fan who really believes that this defense can be really, really good. Like it could be great. And it's just week 2 and we're already here.
Yeah, but I think another reason why you're able to have that feeling like, hey, this defense could be great, and they still have that chance of being that even if Marcus Davenport is down a little bit, is like I thought Aiden looked fantastic. Like I thought week 1 against Green Bay, like it still looked like much like the rest of the team, like he was still getting his bearings. Week 2, he looked like he was just on a tear. Like the Bears just really didn't have answers for him. And if he's starting to get into his groove, if he's starting to kind of feel like his old self, I do think that could make things a little bit easier for, the rest of that defensive line, where there's going to be so much attention put on what he can do on one side of the defense that a lot of that attention goes to, again, shifting your protection that way. And does that open up more opportunities for a Derek Barnes? Does it open up? I mean, again, we saw Brian Branch get a sack in this game. Does it open up more doors for Kelvin Shepherd to kind of walk through in terms of like, okay, hey, maybe we won't have Marcus Davenport for a couple weeks. I'm going to ramp up things and put a little bit more on these players' plate instead.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, say what you will about pressures, and I want sacks, not pressures. Aiden Hutchinson, 1, got a sack. 2, his pressure led to an interception that he probably should have had a sack on. And there were probably a handful of other times where he was pretty darn close, and either the ball got out quickly or he got dragged down by the Bears left tackle Braxton Jones, is that right?
Mhm.
He's playing well. I think people aren't seeing it because it's not showing up on the stat sheet, but he's fine. He's absolutely fine. I do wish he had a little bit more help around him so that he could be freed up a little bit, or when he's getting chipped like 70% of the time or something. I think it was like 85% of the time he was either chipped or doubled in week 1. I don't know I haven't seen the numbers for week 2. You'd really like there to be someone you can trust to win their one-on-one opposite that, but we'll get there. One guy that we haven't talked about yet that I know we wanted to talk about on that defensive line is a little first-round pick.
Yeah, I was very happy with the performance of Tyleik Williams this week. I said it over on Twitter, but like on the Before the Roar podcast with myself, Morgan, and Brandon, Tyleik was someone that I kind of circled as like a guy that I thought could really have an impact on this game, specifically in terms of just like pushing the pocket in the middle and just making things difficult for Caleb Williams. And 2 pass deflections is doing just that, Jeremy, in my opinion. And it's not quite a lame level yet, right? We're not seeing the sacks or the quarterback pressures in that regard. But if he can continue this upward trajectory of just helping to cave the middle of that offensive line around opposing quarterbacks, that opens up more opportunities for Aiden. It does open up more opportunities for things that they can do in terms of creating pressure in other ways. And so it was a nice sign that he's starting to at least kind of make an impact on the game this early in the season.
I don't know about you, Ryan, but I'll take 2 fourth down stops per game from my nose tackle any day of the week.
Worth the investment at the end of the first round for sure.
Right. I mean, that can't be overstated, right? He was the primary reason for the quarterback sneak stop, and on the other fourth down attempt, he batted the ball at the line of scrimmage. Like, those are humongous plays. They're as good as turnovers, and I don't think they get the credit that a turnover does because it's not there on the stat sheet necessarily. But those are turnovers, and that should earn him, like rookie of the year kind of. Rookie of the week status. Not quite rookie of the year. Let's pull that back a little bit. But I don't know if he's going to get that consideration. I highly doubt he will, because I'm sure there's a receiver out there that had a touchdown, and that's what gets people's attention. But that was a huge performance from him in this game, and maybe it wasn't there from a down-to-down basis. But like I said, if your nose/3 tech or whatever you want to call him is getting you essentially 2 turnovers in a divisional game, that's masterful.
Yeah.
Well, and I think oh, sorry, Ryan. Real quick.
No,
I
go
think
ahead.
in regards to the defensive line as well, like again, Tyleik as well as the rest of that group, like I thought they also did a really good job of just limiting like Caleb Williams' like mobility in that
Yes.
sense, right? Like I think that's something that we've always kind of like worried about as Lions fans, is that whenever you go up against a quarterback that has that capability of being able to pick up a lot of yardage with his feet, I believe Caleb Williams had like somewhere around like 24, 25 yards rushing. Like, and it didn't feel like when he did pick up those yards, they never felt like they were like back-breaking plays in that regard, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, a step in the right direction for sure, because you're playing one of the best to ever do it this week. So let's really put that to the test, right? Like, if you thought it was good this week, let's really stress test that out here in week 3 when the Lions head to Baltimore to face the Baltimore Ravens. But I agree, Miko, that was something coming into this week that after seeing the Monday night game with the Vikings and Bears, that was something that stood out, was like Caleb's mobility and his ability to like
He hurt him.
just really did. Like those were plays that were backbreaking against Minnesota and kind of kept Chicago in that game for as long as they were in it. That didn't really happen, and I think to the overall point about the run defense being disappointing because it wasn't as stout as it had been in the past. Like in the middle, it wasn't an issue, but on the edge, and if it was Caleb, escaping, that wasn't an issue almost all game. I think there was one play where Aiden got caught up in some eye candy that led to the rollout touchdown by Caleb Williams.
Yes.
The nice little touch pass. But other than that, like, you feel really good about the interior of that line on the rotation that they're on. Like you're
Yeah.
keeping Reader fresh, you're keeping Lopez fresh, you're keeping, Tyleik Williams, a guy who's getting his feet, and getting his sea legs. Then if you add Aleem McNeil in any capacity, Jeremy,
Right.
again, it's
It'll be
all about
dangerous.
like the end. It's all about the end, right?
Yeah. Yeah, some of the run defense stuff I put solely on the linebackers. There was a couple like miscommunication moments. Derek Barnes not holding an edge, Brian Branch or Alex Anzalone jumping into the wrong gap, like just little things. Again, like it's kind of like the offensive line last week, where it's just like, well, I guess now it's loud when the defense is out there, and so they're going through their own communication issues. But I do want to go back to the quarterback stuff, because I mean, for how long have we spent games against the Bears, against whoever, and been like, they're never going to figure out this scrambling stuff. They can't hold a mobile quarterback in. And I'm looking, Caleb Williams scrambled 3 times. I'm removing the designed run stuff. So the scramble stuff, the where you're not keeping the guy in the pocket, he's escaping the pocket. There were only 2 of them in the entire game. There was a third one that didn't count because that was the chop block on Aiden Hutchinson play. They both came in the third quarter on the same drive when they were already down 31-14. It was a 10-yard scramble on the very first play of the drive, first down. The last one was a 9-yard scramble on a 3rd and 14 that didn't result in a first down. That is a fail of a play for them. So 2 rushes for 19 yards on scrambles. That is a humongous win and a big step in the right direction. And it shows to me, while maybe you weren't happy with the pass rush overall because they were giving Caleb Williams too much time, it shows to me that the game plan worked to perfection, because they were like, hey, we're going to keep you in the pocket so that you have to beat us with your arm, because we think you could beat us with their legs. But we think we have a much better chance when the game is on your arm. And guess what? They were right. Caleb Williams was not great with his arm.
I'm hoping if they make the same gamble against the Ravens that it cashes out the same way, because
Yeah,
like Ryan said, you're talking about one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah,
with his legs.
Maybe the best.
You're gonna have to get a little more aggressive with Lamar, because he can beat you with his arm, probably your arm too, maybe the one that Tesla's not using.
Any other? Oh, I did want to say one other thing too about the defensive line, right? In regards to who potentially could, like, again, what depth they possibly have if Marcus Davenport has to miss time. We have yet to see Tyrus Wheat or Tyler Lacey like activated in either of these games. Jeremy, there is a part of me that's wondering, like, have they been using this time just to get them up to speed?
Yeah.
Is it more or just because we know that there is an element of like matchup, like what's your sense in that regard with us not seeing either guy pretty much activated these first 2 weeks of the season?
I mean, it's hard to say, because I've never even seen these guys' practices. I don't really know what they're bringing to the table, other than guessing based on how they were used in previous spots. I think in general it would make sense. So yeah, like let's take a couple weeks to learn the defense, to build some chemistry with your teammates and see what you got. It probably doesn't help for them that a guy like Mekhi Wingo it's kind of the same thing, where it's like they just needed to give him time to acclimate, and now he's taking a bigger role. Now, could we see Wheat if Davenport misses this game? Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how that's going to help or hurt, but I think that's probably his path to getting on the game day roster. But yeah, I think in general it's just like, hey, let's take it slow. Like, just because you're on the 53 doesn't mean you win a job in the rotation either, right? Like, maybe you just become a special teamer. Maybe you are just depth in case of injury. They have to have, at least 5 people inactive every week. So I think it makes sense for it to be those guys while they figure out where their role is on defense and probably special teams.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Anything else that you guys took away from the game that we didn't get to touch on?
Special teams just still kind of feels like a work in progress. It feels like there's still a lot to be left, to be desired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like in coverage. Like in coverage, I think especially, I think that's something that stands out. For the second week in a row, the Lions had like pretty good starting field position like all throughout the first half. Like I think the worst field position they had in the first half was like starting at their own 30, which is, a huge difference, and kind of goes to show, like in that week 1 Packers game, just all the bad field position that they had, kind of ruining drives and ruining opportunities for the offense. That didn't happen here in week 2. But I think one of the numbers that really stood out, and I can't remember the exact number, but it was like the difference between the number of kick returns so far, like last year versus like just through like week 1 of this year, was like marked. It was like there was like 70% that had been returned in week 1, and it was like 20 or 30%, I think, in last season.
Right.
The Grant Stewart, the Grant Stewart stuff was really fun in the regular, in the preseason.
I'm with you. It needs to go. We got to be done with it.
Yeah, I can really appreciate the guys' just tenacity and willingness to run directly at a person and deliver like a very like alarming amount of contact. Like so much so that it feels like a car accident. Like when he hits somebody on kick return, it's like, oh man, don't do that to your body or their body. Like that's too much. I don't know how you're going to get up from that, and let alone Grant Stewart always gets up. I don't know how, I don't know why, but also the Lions just need somebody back there who has some wiggle. They need somebody back there who you can count on them to get the ball like to the 30 or 35. And if Sailors gets the ball, I mean, to his credit, made a great play, in the opening kickoff to be out of bounds and get the ball to the 40-yard line for the Lions offense on their first drive. But guys, I just need somebody else back there. I don't know if it needs to be Khalif Raymond, who, I mean, he didn't look, I think, his best on punt return himself. I thought he had a pretty good day on offense, but the special teams just kind of still feels like a work in progress, and that feels weird for a team that we talk about special teams all the time. We talk about how important special teams is. They recognize how important special teams is. All these players at the bottom of the roster, they have to be great at special teams. Just feels like there's a lot left to be desired.
That's the collective we. When you talk about special teams, because it's barely a topic over here on the POD cast.
But
I do agree with you.
Yeah, I do too. Go ahead.
Like I to your point about every time Grant Stewart returns a kick, I immediately get flashbacks of the fumble, because like every run looks like his first return where he fumbled, where it's like there's no wiggle. It's just, I'm gonna run straight ahead as fast as I can and pick up whatever is there. And when you see other teams that are, the Lions kicked off a lot in this game, and Luther Burden's getting a couple opportunities here and there, and he's making things happen where it's like, okay, like that could put you in a good starting position. Like it does start to lose its luster of having Grant Stewart back there, where we talked about it a little bit last week, where would it make more sense to have, whether it's a Khalif Raymond, a Dominic Lovett, like someone that can just add a dynamic element to this part of the game that seems to have become so much more important with the number of returns that are happening already, Jeremy.
Yeah. And, I think Vaki presumably returning this week would help a little bit, but the chances are that he's going to replace Sailors and not Grant Stewart, right? Like that's probably the expectation. I'm with you guys. Like it just feels like the Grant Stewart out there is a very low ceiling. Like what does a great Grant Stewart kick return look like? Because I don't think he's taken one to the house.
The ceiling is the crawl space for Grant Stewart. You know what I mean? Like
and when the floor is fumble the ball, what are we doing here? What is the like? Is it just that his average is like, he'll probably get us to the 30 every time?
I was gonna say the ceiling is probably angry run of the week, where it's just gonna be Grant Stewart literally putting some dude in the dirt, and Kyle Brandt raving about how awesome of a kick return that was, so that we can all have another Lions t-shirt to add to our collection, probably.
Right. The problem is, when Dan Campbell's talking about the players that stood out to him on Sunday, he mentioned Grant Stewart on special teams, and I'm like, All right. I guess we just
Not
gotta
on
settle
not on
this-
kick return. Not on
Well,
kick return, right, Dan?
there should have been a follow up. You meant like coverage, right? You meant he did something else.
Yeah.
I think they love him too much. I don't think they're going to change this, but I think the time has come.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they will change it, but in terms of getting the most out of that part of your team, like I feel like they're going to have to at some point. Like to Ryan's point, like it's fun, right? It's you know what he's going to do when he gets the ball. Like there's no wiggle, there's no trying to do anything extra. It's just I'm going to run through the face of the person in front of me, but I think at some point in time the Lions have to look at that differently. And maybe it's going to take maybe some not so successful returns for that to happen to where like you're not starting at the 30. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to kind of watch how that unfolds.
Don't want to get caught with your pants down though, I think, in that situation. Like the first time that it's a disaster, the first time that it's a huge problem, then it's too much. You know what I mean? Like as soon as it becomes a problem, then it's like DEFCON 5, right? Like it's the worst. So I don't know, just
Well,
figure it
and
out.
especially
Like
when you're
figure it out.
talking, yeah, especially when Jeremy's bringing up the fact that like the floor is a fumble, and we're talking about how important like time of possession is and how many opportunities you're going to have to score and not putting your defense in, a disadvantaged type of situation. Like it's something that's I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand why we would stay here much longer than we already have.
Sounds like the podcast.
I was waiting for someone to pick that up. All right, guys. Well, that will pretty much do it for today's podcast. Jeremy, any other news coming up this week? I know with the Lions playing on Monday, right? That things
right.
might be shifting a bit.
Yeah, we're so the line schedule's all messed up, but I think what works best for us is recording midweek mailbag Tuesday. So we might record that on Tuesday, but we might drop it later on. I don't know. It's up. We'll discuss when it's going to drop on the actual podcast feed, but we're recording it earlier in the week. And then yeah, I'm going to Baltimore this weekend, so I'm going to be at the game. So I'm leaving Saturday, which means I think we're going to have to do a prime time Madden simulation Friday night. So if you guys are interested in that, things got a little fun and rowdy last week with JMO getting hit on like a 70-yard touchdown to put the game away against the Bears. Those are always fun to hang out and watch. So Friday night for that, and then I don't know when's the Before the Roar going to drop this week.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do the same thing that you're kind of thinking when it comes down to midweek mailbag. We'll still record on Wednesday, probably drop it on Thursday just to kind of keep everything simple and, not to mess up anybody's expectation of things. A new announcement though is like this week we will drop the whole video podcast. People seem to like, I didn't think people would take offense to it as much as they have. I apologize. I didn't think you guys would care that much. So we are going to start dropping the podcast. It's usually about 30 to 45 minutes. So for those of you that enjoy the long form content, I'll make sure to add chapters so that, again, you guys can kind of skip around. But yeah, expect more long form content over on the Pride of Detroit YouTube channel. All right, guys. Well, with all that said, I'm Miko. He's Jeremy. He's Ryan. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Be sure to head over to prideofdetroit.com to support all of the great written content that's over there. Also check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/prideofdetroit. And if you haven't subscribed to us over here on Twitch, make sure to do that at twitch.tv/prideofdetroit as well. And with all that said, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Recording stopped.
Boom.
All right, things were getting
What?
really choppy for me over here.
I was gonna say I wasn't sure if that was just on my screen or what, but Ryan was coming through okay, and you were being super choppy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Cable cord's getting snipped too. That's what's probably happening.
Hey man, I can't be the only one around here.
I found out something other nifty little thing. If I do this, is it a heart? You like that, huh? There?
Mm-hmm.
Pass incompletion.
It's very fun. Catching up on things from 3 years ago.
I was gonna say it's like a boomer who's like got on the internet for the first time.
Your guys' Zoom? Do you guys do this? If you do that,
I think it's an Apple thing.
oh, is it?
Yeah. It happened on our PODD video yesterday.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I think I remember that happening with Eric before on like another
Yeah. Yep.
video that you guys did.
Jeremy, you had no. Is this a Dan Miller calls, or is this just one? This is one particular call from Dan Miller, but to tease,
To slaw catch.
I don't believe it is. Let's watch it. Oh, it is to slaw. All right, I lied. Share, and then you guys need to be able to see it.
Got it
Whoa,
back.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down. All right, here we go.
21 seconds to go. First down for the Lions. Goff's got it back. Lofts it right side. Wants Tesla. Does he make a one-handed catch? Oh, don't you tell me he did that. Oh, rookie, you are something else as he slides out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Goff works out of the gun. There's the snap. Jared back. Jared looking. Throws. End zone. Caught. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I see you. Oh, that is so big. The rookie makes the catch. That sets up the Lions for the touchdown, and it's the veteran Amon-Ra who makes the grab for the score.
It's a pretty good call. Don't tell me he did it again.
Right side, wants Tesla. Does he make a one-handed catch? Oh, don't you tell me he did that. Oh, rookie, you are something else as he slides out of bounds at the 3-yard line.
That's fun.
I will say the only thing that game was missing was a Penei Sewell like completion.
No trick plays at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like I would have loved one.
I feel like that was a question that I was asked a lot throughout the week, whether it was midweek mailbag or the man sim. It was just like, how many trick plays do you think Ben Johnson's going to pull out against his former team? How much are the Lions going to throw him back? And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like both these offenses just need to get back on track. I'm not sure throwing the kitchen sink at each other is the right move. I still kind of expected one or two, but
From which team?
I don't know. Either.
Because I was gonna say like I definitely didn't expect any from the Bears. Like I feel like Ben Johnson's looking at Caleb like you're gonna have to earn this.
The Kirby stubble bum does not count, chat.
That was a great celebration though. Shout out to
was.
Kirby for that.
Kerr nailed it. I don't think Amon-Ra's halfback counts. I mean, the closest thing because we also had DeAndre Swift direct snaps, right? A couple of those.
Yeah.
I don't think those count. How does Madden feel about Stewart? Are you setting me up, Junk Trunk, to let the people know that aren't part of our Madden Sims know that Grant Stewart is a literal 0 rated kick returner?
Should the Lions trade for DeAndre Swift at the trade deadline to make him the primary kick returner?
Stop it.
My column at Pride of Detroit.
Khalif did have a reverse. That doesn't feel trick play anymore.
No, not after what?
Nah, I still want the hook and ladder to come back. I thought that was such a good.
Oh God, it is so good.
Oh man, it's worked all the time.
You're just
And
waiting for it to not.
I kind of want it to just stay that way, like a perfect memory. Like, oh, the hook and ladders that always worked. Like, not the one where it's like the ball goes out and what if there's like nobody there?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a scoop and score the other way, and then all of us are like, the hook and ladder should have died with Ben Johnson's departure.
By the way, Kick Puncher said went to Taco Bell in the middle of the podcast to get a caramel apple empanada, and it was worth it.
I feel like we should be seeing residuals for that.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Taco Bell owes me a ton of money because back when they actually had good deals in their app, I was telling everybody the $5 box was incredible. and now it's $9 for the exact same order.
Gosh. Well, what was it back when it was was it like $6, $7?
It was $5.
$5.
$5 for a crunch wrap, a taco, a side, and a drink.
Oh yeah.
Now it's $9 for the exact same box.
Unreal.
I had a theory last week that like all of these fast food chains basically up the price to justify like the free stuff that they give us from their rewards.
Right.
Like everything could technically be cheaper, but they're just like, no, we're giving you free stuff when you eat here.
Right.
And it's like you can literally keep your 20% off and just give me back the real dollar menu.
Never gonna happen though, because they're just banking on people not redeeming the free stuff and upcharging everybody
Not me.
else. Yeah, not
Me.
you.
I'd be cashing in on that free Happy Meal every so often.
That's where you spend your, was it 6,000 points for that?
Yeah, because like, what the hell am I gonna do with just a sandwich if I still gotta pay for the fries and the drink? Like at least at the Happy Meal, I get all of it, and I think you can get like the 6-piece chicken nugget Happy Meal.
Taco Bell's
I don't know. I think a
Garbage.
Happy Meal's filling me up either. Huh?
Taco Bell's reward program is terrible.
I don't even know. I don't even know how it works.
I don't
even
either.
know how it works. And I think
Oh.
if I do get anything, it's like, oh, chips and cheese.
I apparently have a hot tier reward, but the best thing I can get out of that is the cheesy roll up. It's garbage. It's garbage.
You know who does have good rewards? Righteous Felon.
We're pulling out a second one?
This one's for free.
That was funny. Brandon asked me about that because like when we do Before the Roar, like we still take a break, and he was like, "Are we gonna do a Righteous Felon ad?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was like, "They probably don't pay us for 2, do they?" And I was like, "You know what? That's a good point. We're not doing one."
They definitely do.
I'm intrigued.
Same.
Cheesesteak? Oh boy.
I had a cheesesteak pizza on
Oh boy.
Friday,
intrigued.
Saturday.
Cheesesteaks are so good. Cheesesteaks
Do
are
I
so
not
good.
have that app anymore? Huh? Might not have the Little Caesars app. No, I still
Little
have.
Caesars app. Little Caesars app has good like coupons that you can just use all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
And I do like they put it in the box and you just like scan your thing and just take it.
and then I saw Jimmy John's. I got an email from them that they're changing their rewards.
I don't have
Oh,
Jimmy
really?
John's app. When you said Jimmy, I thought we were going back to Fallon talk. Here's the thing. I don't know anyone in person that likes Jimmy Fallon or watches the Tonight Show. So when he got like a roaring amount of like that people were like thrilled that he was here, it kind of took me aback. Like, oh, there are fans of Jimmy Fallon. That's interesting.
that's a development.
I don't mind him. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably as far as it'll go with like any nighttime personality. Where it's like, oh,
Yeah. Looks like the Bucks just scored a touchdown because the offensive lineman tripped a guy on a tunnel screen. Like stuck his leg out on purpose.
I need their kicker to put up a lot of points.
Fallon's not a Lions fan. He is. I think he's like I don't know. I saw him explain it today. He was working with Ford and he's like, what can we do with Ford? Let's do a show in Detroit. And so I think tonight's Tonight Show is from Detroit. And it was pre-recorded because I've already seen Aiden Hutchinson on it. But anyways, like I'm not trying to hate on on Jimmy Fallon. It's just not my cup of tea.
Nighttime TV in general isn't really my cup of tea. Like nighttime talk show TV isn't really.
That's fair. I'm a big Conan guy, but obviously he's not doing anything now.
I liked the crap. What was like the? I'm like blanking on like the spoofy like news show that was like on Comedy Central. with like Jon Stewart, and then it had Trevor Noah on it for a
Oh,
while.
the Daily Show that still exists.
Yeah. I know it still exists. I just don't know who's
Yeah.
hosting it now. I really enjoyed it when it had Trevor Noah on
Well,
it.
Jon
I
Stewart
thought
does
he
it
was-
on Mondays now,
Okay.
but I think it's like a rotating hosts after that. I actually don't even know if Jon Stewart is still doing Mondays. That might have just been in the lead up to the election. I don't know.
You guys, have you? My last fast food thing. Did you guys notice, like on the McDonald's receipts, you know that like survey that you can fill out and you get a free sandwich when you buy a sandwich?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's easy.
And that's every single time. It's not like
Every single time you get a receipt, you get an opportunity to fill out a survey. And like I fill out that survey, and that just means it's buy one get one free. And also, when you pull up to the drive-through, you give them your drive-through code. So then you're getting points on top of it. And I feel like that's the only way that I've found to kind of circumvent McDonald's little like, oh, you can't use two things.
oh
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Oh.
So, okay, so I've only ever done this once,
I'm
and it was
hungry
with
now, too.
Chick-fil-A, where like I took a survey and then got a free sandwich. And with them, like they literally send you like a promo code to their app that you just like add it to the cart, and it's like marked as free. How does it work with like McDonald's? Like, do you have to tell them at the
So
drive-thru?
with McDonald's, there's a space for you to write the code that you get when you finish the survey on the receipt that you got. So like you just write the code on it and you give it to them at the window, and then they take the price off.
Oh, so you
you
still
pay
have
the
to order
first
both
window.
sandwiches.
You order both sandwiches, and then when you get to the window, they take off one of them. But because
Got
you gave them your drive-through code,
You still get points.
you still get
for the-
points on the one sandwich. So
Gotcha.
you're double dipping.
Yeah, there's at one of the McDonald's by me, the guy at the window who's typically there every time I go reminds me of that every time. Every time I
Yeah.
go, he's like, "Hey, if you fill out the survey, you get a free sandwich." And I'm like, "I never do this."
Shank says, "Do you guys have the same cardiologist?"
Uh,
I don't
no.
Need it. I don't need it.
No, not yet.
McDonald's. I have gone to Taco Bell twice in the last week, which is me falling off the wagon a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Lion's Blood just had to say something about the New York Royal Cheesecake Blizzard. Damn,
It was a hot one
you.
today. It's ice cream weather still.
It's supposed to be like 85 on Thursday.
You know what I want to do? I want to go to Custard Time in Northville, which is right near Parmenter's, the apple orchard cider place, and get like an apple cider blizzard.
Ooh.
Bro, I had such a craving for cider and donuts yesterday, but Yates is no longer on DoorDash, and Kalila said that she wasn't gonna go for me. So, wow, that's the current state of my marriage. In case anyone
So
don't
you
live here anymore.
so you went and got her empanadas, but she can't do you a solid?
Apparently not, right? And I'm over here trying to make sure that I don't, have her pregnant again. But nope, that sacrifices means nothing.
I'm staying out of this conversation. If you're
Snip
watching,
snap, snip snap.
to be clear, not taking sides.
It's okay. I think she already left to go take the girls to dance, so I'm safe for now. I'm still technically like a wounded lamb here, so she can.
Oh man. And also to be clear, this is why the podcast didn't happen on Sunday.
Yeah,
True.
your boy tried to sit down, and I was like, nope, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen today,
Lion's Blood says frozen peas.
bro. It's been a consistent rotation of ice packs.
Dude.
Just can you get one of those like hemorrhoid donuts and just like throw it in the freezer just to get it nice and cool for 15 minutes?
I don't know. Kalila went to get me an ice pack, like to go buy a new one, and she came back with like the largest ice pack I had ever seen in my life. And she was like, they didn't have anything else, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? So for this past weekend, I've been looking way more impressive than I probably really am.
Miko, every time I've either seen your name or interacted with you since the other day when I was like, are we doing the podcast on Sunday? Like, I just keep on thinking of Ray Zielinski from Tommy Boy. And I don't know if that's a reference that you get, but At the end, he has that thing where he's like, send over a bottle of bubbly with a bucket of ice and a card. Say, tough break, get drunk on me. Use a bucket to ice down your marbles. Your Z.
Wow, I don't even remember that line from Tommy Boy, and I love that movie.
When Rob Lowe ends up at the crash test dummy and the sandbags
yes.
hit him in the nuts.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, at the test facility.
I will say, like I will say, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. It still sucks though. Like I told Jeremy before the pod, I would never do this ever again. Like if it doesn't take,
Hopefully you don't have to.
like it doesn't matter. If it doesn't take, like, hey,
You tried.
I'm blaming this one on God. Like
And with that, do you guys want to get out of here?
Yeah, let me read the last few alerts here, and then we can get out of here. K Fletch, thank you for 24 months, says, hey, it's my Lem Barney anniversary. Hardsticks, thank you for 21 months, says, prime sub again, don't know how many Twitch babies, but baby number 1 incoming. Baby Hardsticks due March 2026. Someone didn't get their Miko surgery. That's what they're calling it now.
That's what they're calling it? The Miko
that sounds
procedure?
I was gonna say that sounds way better than vasectomy. Vasectomy sounds so
It kinda
harsh.
does.
And I just can't believe that, like, this is the week where Nick the Greek doesn't show up to talk about torn scrotums. Like,
Right?
I was literally gonna so when we didn't do the pod, I was going to like make a tweet and tag him and be like, Miko unavailable tonight due to
Torn scrotum.
torn scrotum.
Miko's questionable. Darth Vader, that sounds awful.
Oof. Yeah, so congrats, Hardsticks, if you're still here. Sorry it took so long to get to your alert there. Blam, thank you for the follow. Ornery U of M Dad, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Brandon the Fish, thank you for the follow. And Simply Cogs, thank you for the follow as well on Twitch. And we are caught up, and I think, yeah, it's time to get out of here. Midweek mailbag tomorrow afternoon, morning-ish. Right here, same place, same time. Not same time, same place. Yeah, and then primetime Madden Sim Friday night. Gonna be a good one. Anything else, fellas, before we get out of here?
And before the roar on Thursday. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
Before the roar on your podcast feeds Thursday, and also now on YouTube,
Yeah.
the full episodes. All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it, and
That's the only part of like my camera that I want. I wanted to do that part. I don't need the heart beam.
good night, everyone. Oh, calls.